Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today let's have another look at the Flight Sim Studios Embraer 170. My last video was from March 25th and it has seen quite a lot of updates since then. So before we start, let's have a quick look into what is new. So this is the last version that we used, 0.96, so let's quickly go over the changelogs that we have seen ever since. There have been 5 updates released, which is quite a number of them. So we have got, once again, a lot of fixes and improvements on the electronic flight bag, and a couple new features there as well, so that is some stuff that we will go over in the upcoming flight. Overall, the number of fixes that the airplane has seen since then has been quite many, so for that reason I am not going to test for every single particular fix, but indeed we are simply going to do a complete flight and then we will judge the airplane from there. Do note this one over here, free edition of the Embraer 170 variant. Well, free is kinda okay, since we paid for it from the beginning on, but at least we've got a new airplane version here with the Embraer 170 as well. Going over the remainder of the updates, let me quickly show you that on screen, and as always you can find it on the EJets roadmap on Flight Sim Studios website directly. Okay, and the last one over here, so we can see that there has been quite a bit of stuff shown in the changelogs. Now, to put that into context, you may think like, oh, this is a lot of stuff in the changelogs. But to be honest, for a product that is actively in development, that is pretty much standard as what you would expect. So I would say the number of changes we're seeing over here is pretty much standard for a product active in development. And it's neither good nor bad. Let's put it that way. I would see it pretty much neutral at the moment. So, since the Embraer 170 has been freshly added to the product, why don't we go ahead and go and fly it? We've selected the 170 over here, even though in the cockpit it still says 175, but that is for a different, that's for a different approach. So in the meantime, we are once again going to follow the procedures that have been made available from Flight Sim Studios directly on the website, and we'll try to fly it from there. Even though it is worth noting that there are a couple of things in there which are not covered, like everything after landing and stuff like that. Okay then. Also, we are currently standing at FS Dream Team's brand new Houston Airport. They've been so kind to send me serial codes to give it a look. So we are going to depart from here today, and there will probably also be a separate dedicated video at a later point. With all of that said, let's head directly over into our aircraft. And in particular, we are going to start off in the cabin over here. So just a very quick look there to see what has changed, what is new in the Embraer 170 cabin before we head over into the cockpit. This is what it looks like right now. Got a first class and we got the standard wooden class. Well, people tend to call it economy, that's the broader known term. Okay, what's new as well is in the EFB there is an option to fly the aircraft from the right hand seat, so that sounds quite exciting to me. So that's what we are going to do today. Okay, that's closed, and with the right-hand seat option selected in the electronic flight bag, we can now straight away take our seat over here. And with all of that done, let's go ahead and run a couple of the checklists. Maybe a first quick look into the electronic flight bag, because why not? There is a little bit new stuff here, like throttle axis calibration or operator-specific options, like passenger announcements, well, metric units for the flight computers, default option to hectopascals and disable the auto brake. On the aircraft options, we can manually change the display refresh rates. And I don't really know if that is what improved the performance, but as you can see, if I'm looking around this cockpit over here, things have really gotten a lot smoother than they were on previous versions, so we can see a huge improvement in the frame rates there. Okay, and that's pretty much this. I've enabled the custom auto throttle. They did say that it is included in the changelog, so let's see how that's going to work. And apart from that, I would say we pretty much have our EFB checked out, so that is what we can do with it at the moment. So, let's follow the safety and power-up checklist. Flight deck checked, emergency equipment checked, maintenance status checked, GPU knob is currently out, APU generator in, batteries 1 and 2 off. Let me bring the view over a little bit for you guys, should be easier to see. So batteries 1 and 2 off, fuel pumps in auto, emergency light off, windshield wipers off, hydraulic system 1, 2 and 3 electric pumps, so those are over here, and we've got the elec pumps, all 3 in auto, and the elec pump 3A is off. Landing gear lever down. So power plant start stop buttons, yes indeed they call it like them, yuck. Okay, and the stop position. Speed brake lever, close, thrust levers, idle, and with that we can turn the airplane on. Batteries 1 and 2 on, so flap and slat lever should agree with the indicated position. Let's wait for the displays to power up, if they eventually do. Here we go. Slats and flaps retracted, and the lever is in the 0 position as well. Okay, fire extinguisher panel. That should be up here, and that is checked. Oh, we do have a test button there now. Well, we're gonna run this in a second. So, electrical power and air conditioning established. So let's turn on ground power. And that's it. Okay, this is kinda outside the checklist, but I want to run that fire test. I want to see how that looks like. Let's see if we can see that on the main panel as well. Yeah, we can. Okay, cool. Can we get rid of those indications somehow? Well, I guess we'll find out at a later point. Funny enough, they seem to stay. Well, what do I know? What do I know? Probably there's a cancel button somewhere, but if I'm totally honest, I'm not that much into the Embraer, so if there is a cancel button somewhere, then I don't know where it is. Well, let's hope that that stuff is gonna go away later on. By the way, quick confirmation for all of those who are doubting it, because a couple of people asked me last time, this is version 0.9.11 installed. Okay. Even though it still says Embraer 175 down there, we can see on the version number that we are indeed in the E170. Okay, so pre-flight checks. Complete, fuel quantity. Well, let's quickly go ahead and run that kind of stuff. I did set up a little sim brief flight run. We are going to fly from Houston to Austin, which is just a quick 30-minute hop there. So, fuel quantity, we will need some 5,500 pounds, so make that 6,000 pounds. My simulator is currently set to metric units, but that's not going to be too much of a problem, because it means we need 3,000 kilograms, so we're just about going to load 1,500 per side. Focus, and now it says 6,500 is on board. Perfect. That's what we're looking for. Alright, so fuel quantity is checked. MCDU, let's go ahead with that stuff. So, unfortunately for flight plan entry, I still can't find any MCDU guide in the manuals. So the MCDU guide only includes the performance stuff, not any of the flight plan stuff. So we kind of got a guess over here, but how hard can it be? We've got an active database over there. Let's go to route. We're flying from Houston towards Austin. And then departure, runway. The flight I checked in real life departed on 15 right, so that is what we'll take. And we'll have the Bandito 5 departure with a transition towards Myunri. Whatever that is. Okay, apply that. And from Yunri we'll enter the release 7 arrival for Austin 36 right. So let's go ahead with that. Runway 36 right. ILS approach. And we'll take vectors to final. And we have the VLE-7 arrival. Again, coming from Yunri. Okay, apply that. Yeah, for the arrival it still spells out all the waypoints on its own, so it doesn't really tell us anything directly there, but I guess that's what we have to live with. In any case, that is what it looks like. I still see user waypoint there, so the FMC is still its original default thing and still not really customized as far as I can see. Okay then, in any case, let's go ahead and go to the performance pages. So performance init, tail number is correct, performance factor is correct, takeoff and landing fuel, so that's where things start getting interesting. Got a takeoff fuel there of 6470. And for the landing fuel, we gotta subtract our en route burn of 2,000 pounds, so 2,071 pounds actually, so that's gonna be 4,361. Well, I entered a tiny bit more, but that's fine as well. Okay. Then next page, cruising altitude, flight level 140, which is what the real plane went to. Then we have an average wind, 344 at 23. Like this. And the zero fuel weight, we'll just about take it from here if we can. No, we cannot. Okay, fair enough. So let's see, we are estimated at 61.5. 61,500 it is. Okay. Next page, we still can't change anything over here. That is fine for me. Okay. So that's that stuff. Then it would be nice if the manual told us anything good, but let's go ahead. Departure limit, V2 plus 10. Yep, I guess that looks about good. Then takeoff. We could calculate that somewhere. So takeoff init. Let's see, the latest runway wind at Houston is 010 at 3. Here we go, so it's a 2-knot tailwind. And the rest of that stuff we are going to ignore. So next page, flaps 2 takeoff. Let's not use any derates if we can at all. I don't think we can, so let's go on to takeoff. Got our takeoff speeds over here, and that is about fine. Okay then, performance, cruise. So there is nothing pre-calculated for us here. Descent neither, landing neither, but I guess that stuff is just gonna come en route. Actually, looking at the manual, seems like most of that stuff isn't even implemented yet, so, well, everything that's dashed out over here is not implemented at the moment. Okay, that is unfortunate, but if that's what it is, then that's what it is. So, all of that stuff is still not simulated. Okay, that is fair enough. So that is all that we can do. And we are gonna stay on the takeoff page over here and on the flight plan page over here. Also, it doesn't feature constraint yet, so the FMS is really still very, very, very basic. But if that's what it is, then that's what it is. In the meantime, let's go ahead and request our pushback. And while we're doing that, we can do the remainder of the checklist here. So before start checklist to the line, pre-flight checks complete, fuel quantity checked, MCDU set, crew oxygen checked, altimeters at 2994, reading 100 feet on each side. And that seems to be it when I press the B button. Flight instrument sets, passenger signs are coming on, and takeoff briefing complete before start checks complete down to the line. So I'm just about following the guide from the developer here. Just about. Let me see, APU.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Here we go. That seems to be the APU starting there. For some reason I still can't get rid of those fire test indications. That would be a pity if they were there for the entire flight now. Also look at how quickly that APU started. That is interesting. But anyway.
Launching gear.
Okay, so that should be the stuff completed. If you're wondering, by the way, if anything that's happening in this airplane is correct, I can very much recommend you to head over to Ethai's channel called Crew Rest, and he's an actual Embraer captain, and he's also featured this one.
Release parking brakes, please.
Okay, good, so we're pretty much ready. Let's go ahead and run the before start checklist below the line. That is seatbelt and shoulder harness checked, takeoff performance set, auto brakes, RTO, trim set centered, windows and doors, you can see that over here, they're all closed. Beacon light on, transponder. Let's just enter some squawk over here. Okay, that's still not simulated, fair enough. So we can only turn it on over here, it seems. Okay, so transponder is on. And park and brake, well, they said release brakes, so let's go ahead and do that. Brakes are off.
Push. All engines clear. Start at will.
I guess we'll have to live with the, I guess we'll just have to live with the fire indications now. Why don't they go away? Oh, interesting. If you use the Captain's Master Warning Cancel button, they do. If you use the FO's button, they don't. They have that button in here. You can select flying from the FO seat. So, it's right over here. Fly aircraft from right seat. And, well, no further comment. But let's do something a little bit better, which is starting up the engines. So Ethai said they are usually starting number 1 first, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, that looks like a good start at number 2, so let's start, sorry, at number 1, let's start number 2. By the way, those cabin announcements you hear in the background, they are included in the aircraft. Even though I find them, well, not very good, to be honest. The quality is really poor.
Unlocking gear. truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Okay, we have 2 good starts, and with that, you are clear to disconnect. See you on the right-hand side, I suppose, with a pin, and have a good day. Are they somewhere over there? Yeah, there they come. And they've got a pin in their hand as well, very good. Okay, the pin is seen, let's go. APU. Off. Electric 3A pump on. Taxi light. I really don't know why they want the taxi light on now. That doesn't make sense to me. And flaps. We said we're gonna take off with the flaps in the 2 position, so let's do that. Okay. With that, we're pretty much ready to go. Let's quickly enable our vertical profile view and our TCAS. That's it. What I still don't like, normally, as a first officer, I would be using the terrain display, but look at that. That's not what a terrain display looks like. So, I'm gonna get rid of that again. Okay, fine. So, we are clear on the right, and we are clear on the left. The taxi lights are on. Off we go. According to the manual, the plane should start rolling by itself. Doesn't seem to do that in the sim, so let's give it a little bit of thrust there. That certainly seems better. Then we go out to the left, and that should be it. The frame rate has really improved with this version. I really need to say that. The frame rate is a lot better than it was 2 months ago. Yeah, a little bit further it would seem. Okay, this is where we want to go. November Bravo. Perfect, and on November Bravo we can go straight ahead. Okay, quick departure briefing. On our sit, we climb straight ahead to 600 feet on the 149 heading, then it's a right-hand turn towards Scam. Yes, the waypoint is really called like that. No, I did not select that for the purpose of the video, I promise. So, direct to Scam, which we cross below 5,000 feet, so 5,000 is selected. And from there on, we'll proceed via Shack, Bandido, and Foam above 13,000, Bok, and Munery. Okay, approaching 15 left, we're gonna cross that, and we'll take off from 15 right. Even though we're just going through the approach area, nonetheless, let's turn on the strobe light. The runway itself is located just over there, and then ours is just in front of us. Okay, cool. So, what do we need then? We need nav modes. We need... Well, VNAV isn't simulated yet, so I guess we'll just about use toga mode. Okay, that's 15 right in front of us, clear on the right, clear on the left. So, before takeoff, let's quickly check the takeoff config.
Takeoff okay.
There's takeoff okay, perfect. Then strobe lights on. Action lights on there. Where's my runway? Oh, over there on the left, okay. So I kinda missed my runway. Well, it happens to the best. That happens when you have the pilots taxiing, doing the same stuff as the pilot flying should. Okay, well, that was not my brightest moment here. But here we are back again. Okay, transponder is on, landing lights on, takeoff config checked, and that's the B4 takeoff checklist complete there. Okay, line up nicely. So, they say ensure takeoff mode has been armed on both FMAs. So let's press the toga button. That's takeoff mode active on both FMAs. Ensure auto throttle is armed, and then that's pretty much it. Okay, auto throttle is armed. We see the takeoff indication down here. And that is all I need. Okay. Happy with that, let's go. So we passed 80 knots. E1, rotate. Okay, gear up. Positive rate. Oh, let's follow the flight director, which is jumping around. Why does the flight director want me to pitch down? That doesn't seem right. Go past 600 feet, so let's do the right-hand turn. Interesting that the flight director doesn't command it, but I don't know why, but LNAV isn't going active. So, I guess we'll keep it at that. Okay, here we go. LNAV, flight level change. That is what we want to see. Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting wobbling around there. Okay, let's put the autopilot on. Okay, let's go speed 210, flaps 1, speed checked, and flaps 0, speed checked. So auto throttle should maintain 210, which it does. We are nicely approaching the level of altitude. And we are nicely inbound scan now. Okay, the FMS mode of the speed is not implemented yet, so we've got to handle it manually. I'll just about put it up towards 250. Don't know where that speed limit indication there came from, but in any case, that's 250 knots. Okay. Then we can do the after takeoff checklist, which is landing gear up, APU off, and slats and flaps up. After takeoff checklist complete. And we're passing a scam. Let's continue the climb to a cruising altitude of flight level 140. Set. Level change. Off we go. It gained quite a bit of speed here. I suppose the engines are just running up too quickly. It should really be a little bit more gentle there. 7,000 feet a minute rate of climb. That's quite something. Let's see at which rate it's going to stabilize here. The next limit is to pass foam above 13,000. I have a feeling that that's not going to be a problem at all. Foam is still out there. Hey, 5,000 feet a minute. Wow, that's quite a rate of climb. Well, passing 10,000. Let's accelerate speed to 90. There we go, 290 knots set. Okay, that is foam up there. Slowly approaching our target altitude. Let's go vertical speed. Why is it pitching down? It has engaged at 3,100 feet a minute, but why is it leveling off? Oh, that's an interesting bug there. Looks like, why can I only change it in steps of 200s? I want 2,000 feet a minute, please. What's it doing? Yeah, only goes in steps of 200 feet a minute. Oh, that's interesting. Certainly not supposed to be like that. Okay, I want to go. I would like to go vertical speed 1000 now, but it doesn't let me. Look at that, if I click the wheel, only gives me steps at 200s. At least one thing we can say, the custom auto throttle they implemented seems to be, well, not as bad as what they had before. Like, this is not exactly stable like it should be, but at least it's not varying the thrust as much as it used to do. So that's something good. Okay, altitude capture. And that's it, we're up in cruise flight. Okay, it's gonna be a very short cruise. By the way, let's see the level of first of all. But that seems alright to me. It's taken the last 100 feet very, very slowly, but at least it's getting there, so that's something. Okay, let's do the standard stuff, see what a direct looks like. Let's go direct Muri. Do I even want to try? Muri. It's still taking the routing from the previous point, so you still can't really do a direct. It's trying to go from the last waypoint before that towards Muri now. That's definitely not what it should do. And when can we finally get rid of all those silly airports there? Thank you. Oh no, that is still not VATSIM capable if it cannot take a simple direct. Okay, in any case, let's not dwell on that, but let's go ahead and continue with our arrival into Austin, because we are quite close already. It's just a quick 30-minute flight. So we have the Woolley 7 arrival, and that's going from Muri towards Woolley at 280 knots in between 12 and 14,000, so I guess I'm just about going to enter those restrictions manually, if I can. Which I cannot, okay. Well, then I cannot enter any of those restrictions. So Woolley at between 12 and 14,000. Biter at 12,000, and then we're going for runway 36, it seems. Well, current weather information is winds calm, 18 degrees, 2996. So we'll go for runway 36 then, as we have programmed it. So then we've got Biter at 12,000, Basto below 8, Lucky above 6, or Luke above 6, I should say. X-Wing at 210 at 4,000, and then we have Surf and Bezo at 14,000. And actually I'm talking total nonsense because we're landing runway 36, my apologies. So after Biter we have Music. That's Biter, Music at 230 knots above 6,000, then Tony at 4,000, Bows at 210 and 4,000, Eve and then Scoot at 4,000. Okay, that makes sense like it is. From there on, ILS approach runway 36, right? Let's have a quick look at that. Should be frequency 110.5. And we can, yep, it has auto-tuned that, very nice. 110.5 is automatically tuned. The course is going to be 355, the minimum 680. Okay, so minimums, arrow 680. Here we go, 680 is set. In case I missed approach, climb to 1000 and climbing right turn to 3000 and heading 030 outbound Charlie Whiskey Kilo VOR to Hook intersection. Let's see what that looks like in our flight plan. Oh, we just don't have any missed approach in the flight plan. Okay, well that's another way to do it. Okay, so quick look into the FMC and the stuff we have available here before we're going to start planning our descent. So on the cruise page, pretty much everything is inoperative at the moment, according to the manual. On the descent page, well, the same. You can enter the transition level, but the rest of it is completely inoperative. On the landing page, let's see if we can put anything in here. Landing initialization, what do we have? 18 degrees centigrade. We got a wind that is calm. Can we not enter that? Okay, 360 at 0, it understands. We're going to do a flap full landing. The approach is going to be NPA or Cat 1. We don't have any icing. I don't know why it doesn't know about the runway heading. Let's see if we can give it manually. Yep, we can. Okay, so runway heading 355. The wind is good, the landing weight is good. What else can we select here? No, we are not doing a Cat 2 approach. Okay, perfect. So that is going to be our speeds for the arrival with the landing flap full. Okay, over here everything seems grayed out, but it is good to see that we've got a couple of speeds over here. Some flap reference speeds, even though I do kind of expect that these would be changing dynamically and don't over here. But nonetheless, at least we got something. So that is something for us to work on. Now, in the recent video update that they have posted over on YouTube, they said that the airplane can now properly fly in ILS. So that is going to be the challenge for the day, flying that ILS. I'm not 100% confident, if I'm honest, but we'll try it anyway. Something else that I wanted to give a try is to see how it re-intercepts LNAV after you went heading. So let's just about go heading select for a moment. I'll fly myself off the route a tiny bit here, so let's just about go 10 degrees to the left, heading 260. That is just a standard, you know, weather avoidance or ATC vectors you and then they want you back towards a waypoint. So that is standard stuff that we do every day on normal flights, and I just want to see how the airplane is able to handle that. I suppose the missing Direct 2 functionality is sort of going to screw us, but even without that, I want to see how well it can re-intercept an LNAV track, if it can at all. So I would say that is about enough. Let's go back to nav. Okay, on captures. Let's see how it flies us back onto it. And while we're looking at this, we don't have any top of descent indication, it seems, so we might just about have to... Let's see if we can figure something out on the plan mode. Okay, so the only hard restrictions we have there is we got to cross Biter below 12,000, so let's see how far is that off. Biter is over there, and we got to cross that below 12,000, so let's make it at 12,000, means we got to lose 2,000 feet, and that equals to 6 nautical miles. So 6 miles from Biter, we got to start our descent towards 12,000 feet then. Kinda pity we don't have all that lovely stuff on the vertical situation display and so on, because you would really need that sort of stuff. Apart from that, altimeter over in Austin is 2996. Let's go ahead and change that. Come on, give me 2906. Here we go. And the same is set on the standby, and on the left side, 2996 is in. Okay. Right, so the plane flew back onto the LNAV track as it should. That is good to see. What's also quite useful is that it seems to me the progress bar on the navigation display over here is now indicating correctly. So, got our distance to destination, we got our estimated time en route, so that is quite helpful if you want to determine your descent without any restrictions over here. So you can just say, like, yeah, I want to descend an average of 2,000 feet a minute, so 16 minutes I have, when do I need to start my descent? You know, that kind of easy stuff in the absence of any VNAV indications that you can still use in order to make your airplane fly kinda okay. Obviously that doesn't have a lot to do with how we fly those aircraft in real life, but we gotta help ourselves with what we have available. Okay, auto brake low I will select. That brings up all the indications over here. That is pretty much what I remember what Ethai told me on the live stream. It's been a little while though. 5 months. Okay, crossing Biter in a minute. Let's go ahead and start our descent. Let's go vertical speed, and then we'll just take a 2,000 feet a minute descent here. Look at that. Now, we got the even numbers. So previously we had them with 100 on top. Now we can select between 2,000, 1,800, 1,600 and so on. Well, that's interesting. I suppose it depended on the actual vertical speed we had by the time we engaged the button. And since that had 100 onto it, that's what the airplane stuck into. Not exactly how I would expect an airplane to behave, but it feels kind of good to understand those logics. Want to go vertical speed 1000, and then we can reduce our speed to 280, which is the start speed limit. Oh, that's the wrong direction. Here we go, 280. Okay, after Biter, our next restriction is Tony at 4,000. So we need to lose 8,000 feet, which normally equals 24 nautical miles. That is roughly what we have towards Tony. So let's continue our descent to an altitude of 4,000 feet. And we are going to do stuff simple. We have a ground speed of 311, so we need something in the region of about 1,600 feet a minute in order to follow our plan, in order to reach Tony at altitude. We can also do stuff a little bit different. We're doing 5.5 nautical miles a minute. We've got about 20 miles to cover, so that means 4 minutes in order to lose the altitude, which would then give us something around 2,000 feet per minute. However, we are going to decelerate in a few moments, so I'm quite happy at the 1,600 feet a minute at the moment in order to make our restriction. In the meantime, we'll have the seatbelt signs on all the time, the landing lights as well, as some of you told me would be what you normally do in the US when you're flying below 18,000. And like that, we can now do our descent. So after Tony, then we'll start a right-hand turn. Sorry, a left-hand turn onto the downwind for runway 36 right. Weather over in Austin should be good. I do expect the airport to be in front of those cloud banks over there. So normally they have a very reliable weather service in the US, and if they tell me that there is nothing, then there usually is nothing. Okay, passing 10,000, landing lights are on, seatbelt signs are on. What's the cabin altitude doing here? 900 and descending, yeah, well. Seems to be alright. Not 100% sure if it actually is. The cabin rate of descent seems a little low there to me. Okay, let's get our speed down. I just want to give level change a try. See what that does. Let's go level change 250. See how it gets us down, if it does at all. Yeah, losing speed slowly, even though it's descending at quite a high rate if you ask me, but it is losing its speed. And here we go. Okay, Tony, 9 miles out, we gotta lose 4,000 feet, that means we got to do a little work here in order to get down. But we got 2 minutes to run 2,000 feet a minute, so that looks quite fine to me. Also, I'm sure somebody will point out that at MUSEC we would have a 230 knot speed limit, so I am speeding a little bit, and that is correct. It is quite difficult to keep track of all of that, to be honest, in the absence of having any of that stuff in the FMC. So, 5 miles to Tony, and that means we are quite good, I would say. A bit less than 5 miles a minute, so can use a little bit of speed brake. Let's just see how the plane is going to react. Okay, this is full speed brake now. That's kind of an expected result, to be honest. That feels quite okay to me. We've got 1 to go. Speed brake coming back in. So bows should be at 210 knots. Let's start bringing that speed back there. Like this. Okay, now VNAV is actually pitching up nicely as it sorry, level change is pitching up nicely as it should, giving me a good deceleration rate that looks quite okay to me. Okay, clean speed 210, that seems to match the green dot. Nice. The fuel should be just about there. And there it is indeed. Okay, intercepting 4,000. And that brings us onto a nice right downwind. Okay, let's see how good the airplane can actually fly ILSs. So, as soon as we're out of the turn, I'm going to engage heading select and bring the airplane onto the downwind lag, like now. Heading cell, then we can engage wall-up mode. And we can do that on both sides, please. VL, VL. You should be on the number 1 side, please, like that. Thank you. Why don't we get any localizer indication? Well, that's the same tuning. Why do we not get the glide slope? Seems we only get it when we switch to VOR1. That seems strange, but okay, fair for me. So there's our glide slope. We can make a right-hand turn. Course should be 355. That's a tiny bit offset there. But here we go, 355. Then we can use an intercept somewhere in the region of 320. Invalid action arrival. Okay. Looks like I cannot clean up my routing there. That is a pity. Okay, 14 miles out, so the glide slope indication itself seems to be kinda okay. I do remember on my live stream it screwed us over a little bit. Okay, let's get descending. Look at that, now it's stuck in 500, 700. Oh well. Okay, approach mode armed. Localizer capture. And then we can nicely fly it into the ILS. Flaps 1. Speed is checked. And getting back that speed. Flaps 2. Speed checked. Okay, what is it doing on the localizer now? That's interesting. Trying to do a 5-degree intercept when we're 10 miles out. That is not how an airplane would intercept a localizer. And it got alt cell capture, but why doesn't it have a glide slope? Try that once more. Okay, here we go. Localizer and glide slope. That was interesting behavior. Certainly shouldn't do that. And there is our airfield. Well, this is not how you would intercept a localizer, that is for sure. Because we're flying quite offset at the moment, which should absolutely not happen. Okay, train is noted, and we got glide slope capture. Missed approach altitude 3000 is set. And let's go gear down. And the next flap setting. Flaps 3 it is? No, flaps 4 it is, okay. And flaps full. Okay, down to the up. And now we're on the localizer. Well, that was an interesting intercept. It took like 5 miles. But at least it made it onto the localizer. We gotta see the positive things here. Can we get the altitude to turn back to blue? Yeah, we can. Okay, cool. So before landing checklist. Flight attendants notified, landing gear down 3 green, flaps full set, landing lights on, and that's the before landing checklist complete. Okay, I've seen what I wanted to see, so let's go ahead and disconnect the autopilot. If that will do anything. Well, that does something. Oh, I believe I reset my flight directors. That's not what I meant to do. Here we go. That's better. And manual thrust control. Wonder if I can disconnect the auto throttle. Yeah, I can. So let's fly back towards the center line. 500, continue.
400.
Okay, the approach mode has just disconnected there. Not sure if it should or not, but it did.
300.
Lovely Microsoft mismatch of glide slope and puppy indications, but I believe the puppy is a bit better here.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
No, the radio altimeter is definitely incorrect. That seemed much too high to me. Okay. Reverse normal. Let's take it out of reverse. And let's just let it roll. Okay, so welcome to Austin. Nice little 30-minute flight there. So, while I'm going to navigate this airplane to the gate, which is right on the other side of the airport there, I am quickly going to give you my first feedback. So, what do I think of the Embraers then, at the moment? Well, over the past 2 months, we could certainly see that they have made some progress, and that they are heading sort of into a direction where it starts looking like an airplane. But, if we're totally honest, it is still quite a way off. So, at this moment, I would still put it into the region of a very, very, very early beta. Let's just listen to that announcement. Okay, runway vacated, lights are going off as required. The flaps are going up. Trim should be up 4 units, and that is kind of where it was already. Here we go, up 4 units. And start the APU. Just see how the knob didn't want to move while I clicked on it like 4 times. Lovely little bug. Okay, so back to the feedback. We can see it is very slowly going into the right direction. If you remember what the first version of the plane looked like back in the time when it was released, then we can certainly see some improvement over that. However, I still need to say that it is very, very, very far at the moment from what the developer claimed that it would evolve into on the product page. Now, it's roughly half a year now since the original release of the Embraer onto the market, and I believe we can say that, well, if they are going to continue at this pace, it is going to be another 2 or 3 years until the airplane really reaches the state that they advertise it to be. It remains to be seen if they're going to develop it actively for that long period of time, especially since the flow of money is certainly going to reduce now that the initial copies are sold. However, I will just have to say that we just simply have to hope that they are going to achieve what they advertise. Certainly they need to get the pace up a little bit if they want to achieve it within a reasonable amount of time, but who am I to decide on that? So, at the moment, what I can say is that most certainly we are seeing improvements on the products. What I cannot say is how long it is going to take them, especially seeing that at the moment we're still seeing basic stuff improving. So we are yet to see any improvement, for example, in the FMC. I do just not see anything major changing there at the moment. So that's something that they would hopefully get up for future versions if they want to get anywhere even close to where they said themselves that they want to go there. So the FMC hasn't seen any improvement yet, and that leads me to the recommendation: would I recommend you to buy the Embraer at the moment? And the answer to that is still definitely no. So if you take, for example, the Aircraft and Avionics Update beta version at the moment, which is going to come for free to the simulator, that is still far, far, far more advanced than the Embraer is at the moment. However, if we continue seeing improvements the way we saw them until now, then I can say that eventually, in maybe 2 or 3 years' time, this might become a decent airplane. But for sure, we can see the developers are working on their stuff at the moment, and we can see that they are doing stuff, even though at the moment it's still mostly minor stuff, and we haven't seen anything major like an FMC update or anything the like, so it remains interesting to see where that is going to develop. In any case, I am going to keep an eye on the plane so that you guys can stay informed over it. In the meantime, I would like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you found this one interesting. If you did, then do let me know in the comments below the video. For now, thank you very much, and I see you all again very soon. As always, if you want to support the channel, then like, comment and subscribe. And if you really like what I'm doing, I would appreciate to see you as a channel member, which is going to give you exclusive early access to new videos before they're released for everyone else. If you don't like to join, you can still make a one-time donation using the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.